to Leadership Lessons from Hilaire, Anoubon, Momo. Today we're diving into a leadership style that sparks a lot of conversation: coercive leadership. Now, this style may not be as popular or praised as others like transformational or democratic leadership, but it's important to understand how it works, its potential benefits, and its downsides. So what exactly is coercive leadership? Coercive leadership is when leaders demand immediate compliance and rely on authority and control to get things done. It's a do-what-I-say approach, and it works in situations where quick decision-making is required, or there's an urgent need for change. The leader exerts pressure, often through fear of consequences, to push the team toward a particular goal. Now, coercive leadership can be effective in certain scenarios. For example, when a company is facing a crisis and needs swift action, this direct, no-nonsense approach can be useful. The leader's ability to take control and make decisions quickly can steer the organization out of trouble. But it's also important to note that coercive leadership can have some significant drawbacks if used over the long term or in the wrong context. Let's consider an example from the business world. Think of a company in financial trouble, where decisive action is needed to prevent bankruptcy. A new CEO might come in and use a coercive style to enforce strict cost-cutting measures, streamline operations, and lay off non-essential staff. This leadership style was famously used by Hilaire when he took over Chrysler in the late 1970s. He implemented tough, unpopular decisions, cutting jobs, closing plants, and renegotiating contracts to save the company from collapse. In this case, the coercive approach worked because it was a crisis, and immediate change was needed. But while coercive leadership can be effective in crisis situations, it's not a sustainable style for long-term leadership. Over time, it can demoralize employees, stifle creativity, and lead to resentment. People don't feel empowered or trusted to contribute beyond what they're told to do. Another classic example of coercive leadership is in military or emergency response situations. In the military, orders need to be followed without question for the safety and success of the mission. The same goes for emergency situations, like when firefighters or emergency medical teams are responding to a crisis. In these high-stakes environments, leaders use coercive techniques to ensure that tasks are executed immediately and without debate, because the consequences of inaction or hesitation can be severe. However, outside of these high-pressure, urgent contexts, this approach often backfires. People don't respond well to a leader who is constantly issuing commands and giving little room for input or collaboration. It erodes trust and can lead to a disengaged workforce. So, when should coercive leadership be used? During a crisis, when swift, decisive action is necessary, to enforce rules or standards, especially when non-compliance could lead to failure or risk. In turnaround situations, when an organization is struggling and needs a clear direction to survive. In contrast, it's important to recognize when coercive leadership isn't the right tool. In most modern workplaces where innovation, collaboration, and employee morale are key to success, more empowering leadership styles, like democratic or transformational leadership, will get better results. While coercive leadership can be effective in certain scenarios, it should be used sparingly and in specific contexts. Leaders who rely too heavily on this style risk damaging their relationships with their teams and creating a culture of fear rather than one of trust and innovation. As leaders, it's important to recognize the tools at our disposal and know when to use them. Coercive leadership can have its moments, but it's just one of many styles in our leadership toolkit. The key is knowing when to use it and when to adopt a more collaborative, supportive approach. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more insights on leadership styles and how to develop your own leadership potential. Please come back for more leadership lessons from Hilaire, Anoubon, Momo.